The laughter started the moment the old pickup stopped near the rocky hillside, echoing across the valley like a cruel reminder that some people are never expected to rise again. A wounded veteran and his aging dog stood beside a dark cave opening, measuring shadows and stone, while neighbors shook their heads in disbelief. They said he had finally lost his mind, that war had broken him beyond repair, that no man could survive by building a cabin inside a cave. But they were wrong, and by the time winter showed its teeth, that cave would become the very thing that saved them both. If you believe the world often underestimates silent heroes, and that second chances still matter, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. His name was Michael Carter, a former U.S. Army sergeant from Colorado, a Christian man who carried his faith quietly and his pain even quieter. After returning from overseas service, Michael came home with injuries no one could see clearly, not on x-rays and not in polite conversation. Nightmares followed him into daylight, and jobs slipped through his fingers because he flinched at loud noises or went silent for long stretches. The small house he once shared with his wife felt empty after she left, unable to live beside someone still trapped in another world. When the bills piled up and patience from others ran out, Michael sold what little he had left and drove away with only his dog Max riding shotgun, the one soul who never judged his silence. They wandered for months, parking near forests and in used land, surviving on savings that shrank daily. Max, a scarred German shepherd rescued years earlier, seemed to understand every shift in Michael's mood, staying close when the memories returned and nudging him forward when despair tried to settle in. Eventually, they found the cave by accident, hidden behind thick brush and overlooking a wide valley. It was dry, deep, and shielded from the worst of the wind. To Michael, it didn't look like madness. It looked like shelter. It looked like a place the world had forgotten, just like him. The idea of building a cabin inside the cave wasn't born from creativity, but from survival. Michael knew winter would come fast and hard, and tents would not last. Using reclaimed wood, scrap metal, and tools traded for odd jobs, he began reinforcing the cave entrance, slowly shaping a structure that blended stone and timber. Neighbors from nearby properties noticed the smoke from his fire and the sound of hammering and came to watch. Some laughed openly, calling the cave like something from ancient times. Others whispered that the veteran had finally snapped. Michael heard it all, but he didn't respond. He had learned in war that noise didn't deserve energy. The work was brutal. His hands ached constantly. His injured leg throbbed with every step. And there were days he barely had enough food to keep going. At night, he lay on a thin mattress beside Max, listening to the wind roar outside while the cave held steady. Fear crept in during the quiet hours. What if the cave collapsed? What if the cold seeped through? What if he failed again? But every morning, Max wagged his tail, and Michael found just enough strength to keep building. Slowly, the cabin took shape, insulated by stone, protected by earth, invisible to the storms above. As fall turned to winter, the laughter grew quieter. Snowstorms swept through the valley, brutal and unforgiving. Roads closed, power lines failed, and several nearby homes lost heat entirely. Michael and Max stayed inside the cave cabin, warm from the natural insulation, and a small wood stove he had installed with careful planning. The cave didn't fight the cold. It absorbed it and neutralized it. While others shivered, Michael cooked simple meals, prayed softly at night, and slept without fear for the first time in years. Then the storm came, the one locals would talk about for decades. A blizzard so fierce it erased landmarks and buried homes under walls of snow. Emergency crews couldn't reach the valley for days. One nearby family tried to flee and got stuck. Another house collapsed under the weight of ice. Panic spread quickly, and suddenly the cave wasn't a joke anymore. It was the safest place in the area. Guided by instinct and Max's keen awareness, Michael helped neighbors find shelter inside the cave cabin, sharing warmth, food, and space without hesitation. Inside that stone shelter, people saw a different man than the one they mocked. They saw disciplined, calm, and quiet leadership. They saw a veteran who knew how to stay steady when chaos arrived. Max moved among them gently, offering comfort without needing words. Children slept safely against cave walls while the storm howled uselessly outside. The cave held, the cabin held, and Michael held himself together, even as old memories stirred. because this time his strength was saving lives, not taking them. When the storm finally passed and help arrived, the story spread fast. The cave cabin that everyone laughed at had become a refuge. Reporters came. Officials asked questions. Architects marveled at the natural efficiency of the design. But Michael avoided attention. He didn't build the cabin to be admired. He built it because he refused to die quietly in the margins of society. He built it because he believed God had not brought him this far to abandon him in the cold. Opportunities followed, ones he never expected. A veterans housing organization offered support to help him expand the cabin into a model for emergency shelters. Donations arrived, not out of pity, but respect. Neighbors who once laughed now nodded silently when they saw him. Some apologized. Michael accepted without bitterness. He knew survival changes people more than words ever could. Life didn't become perfect. The scars remained. The memories didn't disappear. But something fundamental shifted. Michael no longer felt invisible. He had proof that his instincts were still sharp, that his service still mattered, that his life had purpose beyond the battlefield. The cave, once a symbol of exile, became a symbol of resilience. And Max, loyal as ever, stayed by his side, a reminder that sometimes the ones who stay with us in our darkest places are the reason we survive them. Just before this story ends, take a moment to comment below and share whether you believe second chances come quietly, like a cave hidden in the hillside, waiting for someone brave enough to step inside.